This is the truth about spirit guides, and I'm going to tell you things that you won't hear anywhere else. Hi, I'm Karina and I am a tarot reader and spiritual teacher. I have read for thousands of people all over the world, and when someone comes to me for a reading, I very often end up connecting with their spirit guide. So I have met many of your spirit guides, and in this short video I am going to distill all of that knowledge into this powerful little training for you. We are going to bust some myths about spirit guides, and hopefully you will end up understanding about spirit guides a little bit better and how to connect with your guide. First, let's deal with what is a spirit guide. Who the heck knows? I'm going to be really honest with you. Despite having connected with so many of your guides over the years, or perhaps because I have connected with so many, I can honestly say that I do not know for sure who they are or what they are. And I'm not sure that anybody living really does. The only thing I know for sure is that they definitely exist. Trust me on that. You watching this video right now, wherever you are in the world, you have a spirit guide. Guides are like ghosts. They're here, but you can't really see them. You can only sense them. Now, some people believe that guides are like a distant relative. It could be somebody like a great-great-grandmother, or perhaps somebody you knew in a past life. Some say they are just very smart people, evolved beings who were assigned to you before you came into this life. So while you don't remember them, they certainly know you. So when you were born, your guide came into this life with you as your companion and guide. The reason why there's confusion sometimes about what guides are is that the question itself isn't really relevant. Spirit guides have no interest really in telling us about themselves. And I know that that might surprise you. They don't want us to fixate on them. They want to focus on you. You are their reason for being here. They are here to help you. So think of it like being a kid back in school. And you have this really inspirational teacher. I had this English teacher who used to tell stories about ghosts, and I was glued to every word that fell from her lips. In fact, she was probably partly responsible for sparking my career direction and doing what I'm doing right now. I never knew anything personal about her. She was teacher, and that was enough. You see, her purpose, her reason for being here is to help young souls find their way in this life, to find their purpose. That's what guides do. So what is the point of a spirit guide? Like, what does a spirit guide do? The giveaway is in the word guide. So a spirit guide guides you. They are that quiet little thought, that whisper at the back of your mind that says, don't do that, do this instead, or don't say that, say this instead. They direct you. But more than anything, guides help you to remember. Well, remember as much as you need to remember. They help you remember certain skills and gifts that you've mastered in previous lives that you want to use again in this life. So, for example, when I first picked up a deck of tarot cards and started to learn how to read them, it felt like I was remembering a skill, if you know what I mean, rather than learning it for the first time. And that's why my development came so fast. When you learn something new and it feels so natural, that is your guide working behind the scenes, lifting the veil, right? So lifting that veil a little bit to help you remember. You know, of course, this might sometimes beg the question, why not just let us remember everything? Why do we come into this life with so few memories of the lives that we lived previously? This kind of amnesia? Well, the answer is probably quite simple. If we remembered everything, then we'd also remember that life is everlasting. We wouldn't fear death. We wouldn't be conscious of time and rushing around to achieve all these things we want to do before we die. There'd be no such thing as a bucket list. There'd be no motivation. Why bother? Like, what's the hurry? Chill. If life is ever after. And if they lifted the veil between us and the spirit world tomorrow, and you saw heaven with your own eyes, not through a medium or a psychic or a spiritual guru, but with your own eyes. If you can see heaven, you could touch it, you could smell it, feel it. How would that make you feel? Wouldn't it kind of take the seriousness out of this life? And wouldn't it be tempting just to quit this place and hop over to heaven whenever the going got tough? So we are meant to forget for a reason, but there are some skills that we have learned in a past life that we are meant to carry over. And when the time is right, your spirit guide will lift that veil just enough and start planting ideas into your head to work with that gift and to discover that gift. So how many guides do we have and what do they look like? Who the heck knows? Some people claim to have several guides, even 20 or 30 over a lifetime, coming and going depending on what's happening in their life. In my experience, I find generally that people tend to only have one guide, maybe two in a lifetime. Your guide is pretty smart and flexible. He or she can handle the different needs you're going to have in this lifetime. That said, and I feel this is where the confusion about numbers come from, about how many guides you might have. You see, your guide can change appearance. And usually they only change appearance if that is what you expect them to do. So, for example, let's say you're trying to develop your spiritual side and in a meditation you see a Native American in your mind and you get really excited and you think, well, hey, I've got a spirit guide. Oh, hello. And you're thinking, I must be developing spiritually because I've just seen my guide. Fantastic. And then a little while later, maybe you keep practicing and a while later you see a monk or a little wise old lady and again you're excited because it means you must be developing even more because you're gaining another spirit guide. Now chances are that it's the same guide, but your guide is using different faces as a way of signaling your progress because they think that is what you will understand. They'll use any tool they can to communicate with you. They're shapeshifters. They really are. Personally, I have only ever felt one guide around me, and he has a very strong male energy. I know this is strange, but I've never really wondered who he is or what he looks like, which is perhaps why I've only ever had one guide, right? I don't expect him to change. Of course, I understand it's a human condition to want to put a face or a name to someone, but guides are spiritual energy and they don't have a physical form or even necessarily a personality type that we humans can relate to or understand. So in essence, basically don't worry too much about who your guide is or what they look like, just be with them. How do you contact your guide or be with them? Chances are you're already connecting with your guide, but you don't know it because you've been doing it since the moment you were born. We connect to guides by feeling them, by feeling their presence. So signs that your guide is present, is around you include like tingling, you might tingling down one arm or down your spine, a cold breeze, a sudden shift in your mood, ringing in your ears like a distant radio signal or voices that you're trying to hear but you can't quite work them out. See, guides can manipulate your energy and they can cause a physical or emotional reaction. So when you start to become more aware of what your guide feels like, you become more aware when they are near you. In other words, you need to start recognizing their calling card. It's what I call their calling card. What's your guide's calling card? In other words, how do they make you feel when they've just arrived in the room? The best way to master this is to be more aware of how people make you feel. So let's say you are standing in your kitchen and someone walks in and this is a person you really don't like. Okay, we all have somebody like that we can think of. So note your instant reaction. Not the thoughts that are flying through your head about them, but what hits you instantly. What's the feel of their energy? It might feel dark, it might feel black, it might make your stomach churn or the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. When that happens, when you realize what is happening in your body, you are connecting with their energy. You are sensing them rather than seeing them. Do you understand? Do you see the difference? So now imagine though somebody you really love comes into the room and you haven't seen them in years. It might even be somebody who passed over. They walk into your kitchen. Now what feelings rush through you? Maybe there's a warm shiver down your spine, or even down your legs. Maybe a warm feeling that rises from your chest area, your heart chakra, and into your neck and your face. Again, you are connecting with their energy, and you should try to remember what that feels like. So what I want you to do is get used to sensing people in real life this way. Get used to feeling what they are like to you rather than just seeing them with your eyes. It's a very useful talent anyway, because it will just make you more intuitive. But more importantly, it will help you sense when your guide arrives, to understand what reaction you have to being in their presence. Is your guide with you every day? This is a question I get asked regularly, and people can sometimes get a little bit anxious about missing the signs of their spirit guide, or worried that they're not connecting with them because they don't hear them or see them. Do I feel my guide around me every day? No, I don't. In my experience, your guide will be around you when you have big decisions to make, like about which college to go to, career decisions, relationship decisions. Generally, when you are on the path, when you feel like you're doing your thing and you don't need any guidance, they're not around. They don't need to be. They can go take a vacation. They can go wherever spirit guides goes. Who knows? Maybe I share the same spirit guide that you do. Maybe when I need him, the timing, he's here, and when you need him, he's with you and he helps you. Your spirit guide can also turn up when you least expect it, though, I've found. Like, for example, if you're driving along in the car and a thought pops into your head, and that thought is quickly followed by your guide's calling card, your signal. So in that case, for me, it's a tingling down my neck. So when a thought pops out of the blue into my head, followed by that tingle, I know to pay attention, because it's my guide saying, yes, that was me. Listen to the thought I just sent you. It's actually not that complicated when you break it down. Your guide is magic, but he is not a magician. Finally, it is worth mentioning that what your guide can and cannot do. So remember, your guide's main purpose is to help you remember your gifts when the time is right. They can also help to guide you when you are faced with some important decisions. However, your guide is not a magician, so he can't magic up a new house or love for you. But what he can do is guide you to the resources or uncover the talent you need to get that house or to find that love. So he can inspire you to keep going when the going gets tough. He or she is the light in your darkness. So your guide is your life companion and teacher, and for that reason it is a truly, truly special bond. So if you do have any stories about your guides, who your guide is, or any experiences you've had, I'd love for you to share it with us in the comments, or if you have any questions. Meantime, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe, as that will help me on YouTube. And meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Mwah! Take care.